Hi, how are
What's
you?
up? Of
Dermot Kennedy is with us. I'm so glad you're taking the time to talk to me.
course, no, thank you.
Um, how are you doing today?
Great, yeah, all good, all
Perfect.
good. Yeah, just at home. I mean, I got plenty to be doing, working on music and all that, so all good.
Are you in Ireland right now?
Yes, yeah, in Dublin.
Perfect. Now you just posted on Instagram that there's no better feeling than putting out new music. So I guess we gotta dive right in and talk about giants.
True.
Um, so you once said that your songs always talk about two extremes, like light and dark and love and loss and so on. And I feel like that's the case with giants as well. What's your take on that?
True, yeah, that's a good point. Both are probably in there, right? Like it's a song that acknowledges the dark for sure and is aware of it, but it's a song about focusing on the light and focusing on goodness and hope as opposed to um being defeated by the dark. So yeah, I think what I wanted the song to basically represent was hope and how hope would out above everything else, and that's what I want people to take from it, because I know times are weird and I know it's difficult for some people currently. So I mean, music is what I do, and that's my way of speaking to people. So I'm glad I can kind of bring out music at a time like this, you know.
And we are glad you put out that song. And you were greatly inspired by Leslie Dwight's poem, What If 2020 Isn't Cancelled, right?
Uh-huh.
Um,
Yeah.
what impact did it have on you when you first read it?
I just thought it was a nice way of looking at things. I think that poem could only come from a very hopeful person, right? Like it's just it'd be so easy to try and write a poem and speak about how bad things are and how difficult things are, but it's lovely to just, and ignore is the wrong word, but it's lovely to sort of leave all that behind and just say, like, what if this is actually exactly what we needed? You know, I think there's so many of us in the world like take so much for granted and live our own really like narrow lives with blinkers on half the time, and aren't necessarily conscious of other people's struggles and stuff. So I just think it's a nice, maybe this is the year that we all sort of change and become a bit more aware of each other and try and learn more, you know.
And what kind of change do you want to see in the world?
Just to see people, yeah, I mean, like, what doesn't need to change? Like everything from an environmental point of view, racism needs to change everywhere, basically. I mean, just so many things that need to be addressed that can just make the world a more inclusive and a more beautiful place to live.
And I feel like you are raising your voice a lot these days on social media as well to speak up for, in case like Black Lives Matter and all these things that we need to talk about these days. Do you
Mm-hmm.
feel like you have already observed like little gestures of positive change around you?
Uh, like I have, but also like the epicenter of that movement is in America because of police brutality and what happened to George Floyd, and that's when it kind of kicked off. But so I can honestly say I probably don't have a great view of it here in my day-to-day life in Ireland, but I think I think there's definitely some changes being made in America, but you can see that the people at the forefront of that movement are so determined to not let it die down, because obviously the way things are and the way news circulates and the way social media operates, like an issue exists for a small amount of time and then goes away, and that can't happen with Black Lives Matter because it's something that's been around for centuries, this oppression, and so it really has to go away, and they can't let that issue die down, you know what I mean? And it's hard in America because the media has certain agendas and they only want to show people certain things, so it's so hard to make it at like the most important issue all the time in the eyes of the world. So it's just very admirable to see people who are so determined to fight for that cause and to not let it go away, you know.
And I feel like it's across the globe, right, that people are rising up and protesting for everyone to have the same rights. And I also feel like the changing topics, COVID-19 has been like a lot of fertile soil for artists as well. Have you used the time to write a lot of music?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been writing a bit, and also I've been kind of I haven't been too hard on myself either. You know, I've kind of been writing when it feels good, because we were on tour in America until we had to go home. We had to cancel the last few shows of the tour and go home because of COVID-19. So it was a thing where we had to, like, I basically went straight home from there. So I took a little bit of time without writing, but lately I've been writing a lot, yeah, and just writing without music too, just writing lyrics and seeing how I feel and what my brain wants to say has been interesting and enjoyable. And yeah, I think that's exactly it. It's been fertile soil. And also, all artists are kind of locked away by themselves right now. So I made myself a little studio and I figured out the basics of production, and I'm just trying to kind of get somewhere with that.
All right. How, have you already recorded your own demos in that studio?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe we'll get to hear some of that in
maybe, yeah,
in the future.
After somebody who's far more talented than me takes a look at it, yeah.
Well, talking about being not too hard on yourself, right?
Yeah.
You also mentioned on Instagram that you are feeling so much more free creatively. Like, how does that show when you say you're writing more, just about the being not so hard on yourself part as well?
Yeah. I just think when you're looking into your second album, I've kind of done so much work to hopefully establish myself and to become who I wanted to be, and so I guess you kind of know what you need more, right? Like for the first album, I traveled everywhere, and I was so up for getting in the studio with so many different people and trying to see if it worked well with them and who I should write with and who I should, like, what producers I should work with. And it was this trial and error the whole time. Whereas now I kind of know who I want to work with, and I know how I want to do things and how I want to write and what's the best way for me to put an album together. I kind of have those things now, and I feel like I know what I want to do. So I just feel more free in that sense. And I feel like, to a certain degree, I feel like I've proven myself. And so I feel like I'm in a solid position to kind of know what I want and how I want to go about things. So I feel very free in that sense. And yeah, I feel like I've sort of, I used to, like, before I had a career, I used to write a couple of songs every few months. Like, it was not a thing where I was writing songs the whole time. And it's not that now either, but I'm better at, like, sitting down and treating it as a job almost, and, like, making myself write and I'm better at looking for those ideas.
Okay. Sounds like a little less pressure though also.
Yeah, for sure.
Hopefully for you as well. Now you said you're making a lot of music, but what else have you spent your time doing during this lockdown? Did you have the time to teach yourself something completely new, maybe?
I'm trying to think. I've gotten back to living the way I was when I was 18, you know, like playing PlayStation, playing football, like sleeping loads. I'm taking it as a time. I know that when things get back moving, like touring and promo and stuff, it's going to be crazy. So I'm, like, taking this time to rest as much as I can, be as healthy as I can whenever it starts off. Because, like, when you're on tour for 5 months, you don't realize how much of a toll that takes on you, like, health wise, and how tired you actually are. You think you're fine, but, like, you're definitely tired. And so I'm taking this time just to make sure I'm at 100% and like working out and doing just whatever I feel like doing. It has been really enjoyable. I feel like every artist, like, when they have to go again, will be like, oh no.
So you're not looking forward to it?
No, I am. I definitely am. It's nice to be settled somewhere for a while, and just to have some space, because the way music is these days, like, it's so competitive and people have to release music all the time. And so there's often not pressure, but you feel like you just have to be doing more and more and more. And so it's nice now to have a bit of space.
Yeah, like the pause button that was forced on you somehow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Now I feel like now you just mentioned that you can enjoy it, to have this time, but times like these can be, like, they stir up so much, and they are unsettling somehow. what strategies do you use to decompress?
Well, I'm lucky in the sense that music is my therapy and music is my outlet for that stuff. And so I always have that. But I mean, like, exercise has always been a huge thing for me, to be honest. And so, like, say this morning even, or the last few mornings, I've been like making sure I just do not look at my phone. Because what happens to me is, like, if I wake up and look at my phone, I'll instantly see like a to-do list of a bunch of stuff I have to get done. And it's just an intense thing to see first thing. So I've been like waking up and just reading for an hour, and then I feel like in a much better headspace to look at things and even think about what I need to do. So that plus like fresh air and exercise just kind of keeps me level.
What's the most fun exercise that you like to do for yourself?
I don't know if any exercise is fun. I think the best exercise for me is like just playing football with my mates. That's the best. Because I haven't done that in years. Like, I have friends that I haven't seen in a really, really long time. And so now that we're all around, it's a beautiful thing.
See, that's another positive side note with COVID being around. And now you just mentioned, like many artists, you had to postpone your tour dates.
Mm-hmm.
What's the moment you're looking forward to most when you can finally play live again?
Oh, there's so many. And there's things I haven't even really had a chance to think about because everybody's just focused on this year. But when I think about next year, it's so exciting. Like, shows, like we're playing Red Rocks next August, which is just huge. And there's like a bunch of massive open air shows in Ireland that we have planned that just kind of like we're ready to play them. I just we need to be allowed. And so I think next year is going to be very busy in terms of touring.
Fingers crossed. Now this summer is going to be very different due to all this what's going on and you having to postpone everything. How will you spend the next months? Do you have an idea already?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's really important for me to have a schedule when it comes to like working and writing and stuff. So I've got a few people that I like writing with, and we are going to basically just put a schedule in place where we literally like me and you are talking right now, like we work for a couple hours a day and then I'll log off and write by myself for a while and then check back in. So the next few months for me are like really starting to focus intensely on album 2 and what it's going to be and writing it. Basically, I've got a bunch of ideas already, but just like seeing what happens, you know,
seeing what will stick and what won't.
Exactly.
All right, well, very excited to be able to listen to that record then.
Yeah,
it's going to take some time obviously, but then
True.
We're looking forward to that. And stay safe, stay healthy,
Of course,
and
too.
Thank you for your time.
Nice one. Thank you very much.